Nerds and geeks, believe it or not, the legendary Saturday nights of the Nerd-O-Roundtable are back. Yeah, man. Threw a whole lot of Macho Man on that. We are back and in full effect tonight. We got John Wick, we got some Shazam. We can finally get to The Last of Us, The Mandolorian. There's so much good stuff going on in the Nerdverse. Joined as always by Thomas Talking Cunningham. What it is, good sir?
What's that?
Dr. Liz from the Freeway.
Hey, everybody.
Ryan Twitch Master McBain.
Hello there, children.
And the one and only Mo Kelly.
Last of Us sucked.
All righty. So let's go on and start there. First of all, Twitch Master McBain, I have to thank you for guiding us along the way with The Last of Us, because one thing every episode, as almost like a recap, McBain would send us some live gameplay of exactly how the scene happened, and I would literally be sitting there looking at your play like, oh shit, it is exactly like that. Like, I mean, I guess you can add in your own commentary. Like Mo, I thought that The Last of Us sucked at the end. But my brother sat me down. My brother's like you, McBain. He's played the game. He plays the game all the damn time. And he said, yo, T, you know how it is when after every Marvel movie, I'm sitting there like scratching my head like, okay, and you're like hyped. You're like, yo, you don't know, because that's the thing that does the other thing that has the other thing that goes, wow. Like, and I'm always like, oh, okay, cool. And then when I like look up some stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is actually dope. He said, for anyone who plays this game, we love it for one reason, because all the way throughout that season, you saw all types of teases and all types of allusions for things that, for me as a game player, I know what's about to come in the next season, and it's about to be fire. I told him, I'm like, dude, I don't play the fucking game, dude. I'm just watching the show. And when you end the show like that, so we all good? Yeah, we're good. You didn't lie. No, I didn't lie. All right, cool. Fade to black. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? For me, that was rough, McBain. That was literally like punching me in the gut.
Yeah,
saying, sorry you wasted your time.
So when I played the game first time, and so what you saw on HBO, I saw when I was playing the game. I was like, yo, what the fuck, man?
Okay.
So I was biting my tongue throughout the whole show because I want you guys to experience.
Oh, so you knew that was coming.
Oh, I knew it was coming. Everything. You guys were asking questions. I was like, yeah, well, just wait till this happens. Just wait. The show is like the game. Okay. There were things that they could have added. I wish they would have added more stuff, because it's a TV show. You can add in filler stuff. You can make it so like Joel's choice at the end makes more sense, because this choice that he makes, personally, I think it was selfish. It kind of split the base, but in a nice way. People weren't toxic about it. Some people were saying, like me, oh, Joel was selfish for not sacrificing Ellie. Other people were saying, oh, he's not selfish, and you don't understand because you don't have kids. I'm like, okay. So in this situation, I always ask myself this question. What would Casey Anthony do?
Oh shit.
Okay.
Okay.
First of all,
no.
Good night, folks.
That's it.
let me be the
Weird
first to say
disclaimer.
hashtag fuck them kids. I'm sorry. I don't. Okay, I will say this. When I watched Game of Thrones, after the first season, actually midway through the season of Game of Thrones, it inspired me to read the books. And obviously, because we ran out of books before we ran out of seasons of Game of Thrones, I was done with the books, and I was like, I wonder how they're going to do this, because this book is really kind of just like the opposite side of the story from this book, and it seems like they've already kind of decided that they're not going to do that. So I wonder what's coming next. And I started to get pissed at Martin, because I was like, bruh, can you can you just finish? Like, it's been 10 years since the start of the show and the end of the show, whatever, and you still haven't gotten out the next book. And so, but watching the show inspired me to read the books. When I started watching this show, I literally went and started looking for the remastered PS5 version of The Last of Us. And I was like, I wonder if I should play this game, because if the story that I'm seeing is like the game, then this seems like an intriguing thing to me. I'm not really good at those sorts of games, but I was like, maybe I'll just buy it. And then I saw that fucking finale. And I said, fuck this game. I am not going to play it. And I'm definitely not going to try to just pick up on the second one knowing like, oh, okay, I know how the first one ends, so I don't have to play the first one. Let me just play the second one just like, no, I'm not going to do it. Because, in my opinion, this is a universe that could have been interesting to explore if Joel hadn't turned into an absolute nihilist. I get that he loves Ellie. I think I get it. It does seem to me that I was unconvinced that this doctor who had never been able to examine anybody like Ellie was absolutely confirmed that the only way to get the cure was to kill her. It didn't strike me that was the only logical thing.
That was the argument, yes.
You could go in, just like patients don't die all the time when you have to do brain surgery. It seems like you could have gone in and got you a chunk of cordyceps and pulled it out and squeezed it and juiced it and done whatever the fuck you needed to do to see what the different chemical signature was. And then, mass manufacture that shit and everybody's happy. But no, not only do you not even begin to explore that possibility, Joel kills every motherfucking body, including any doctor who could have perhaps had some sort of influence on maybe thinking another way. And it was just like, no, I can't.
Well, that's what happens in the game. But I will tell you this, in part two, the decision that Joel makes in part one, he's going to pay in part two. And boy, let me tell you.
Joel
paid.
They've already said that, and you said it after the very first episode. You said, I wonder, you've invested in this actor, and if they follow the game, then it's going to be a bit of a twist. And so it's pretty clear what what the consequence is going to be. Whether or not it's a first or second episode thing, I don't know, because I'm not going to
spoil for you right now.
No, that's okay. No, the audience, don't do that to the audience. I just am never going to play the game, and so I will watch the second season.
It's good.
Yeah, except that it ended in the shittiest way I think I've ever seen any game end.
That's how the game ends.
I get it.
Look,
all your base are belong to us. Fuck you.
Game or series,
yeah,
literally, and this
so
is what I tell folks for television. We watching it as a series. If you wanted to give us a cliffhanger and get us excited for the second season, because to your point, Ryan, it's a television series, so you should be able to take some liberties. You've already paid off the fact that it's scene for scene out of the game, right? If you want to give us a cliffhanger, the cliffhanger, the show should have ended with Joel waking up from being knocked out and having Homegirl explain to him what it was that was going to have to happen. And the security guards, whatever, holding Joel and them going down the long hallway towards the operating room, and maybe the doors are opening up and you see the doctor with a scalpel and it zoom in on Ellie, on the table with the mask on her face, knocked out, fade to black. Because then we're like, oh shit. Like Joel just found out that through all this person he's fallen in love with as a daughter, surrogate daughter, she's about to have her brain opened up to get this cure. He's being held back. He's screaming, Ellie, Ellie. What? And then it just fades to black. And then you could have come back with him killing everyone in the hospital and then breaking out.
But if you do it like that, then you already know that Joel's made his choice. The whole I mean, trust me, I understand the outrage, but the funny thing is, a lot of people weren't really that mad. People that played the game got more mad over what happened in part two, to the point where
Ryan, you're not selling the second season.
No. But let me tell you why they're mad. They were saying, "Oh, part two is too woke." Blah blah blah. That fucking bullshit that drives me nuts. I literally had people in my Twitch channel, I had to ban because they were mad that I was playing the game. Like, why are you playing this shit? If you keep playing this game, I'm gonna unfollow you and never watch you ever again. I was like, well, get the fuck out of here then.
Yeah, start now.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave now.
Yeah.
So like, without spoiling anything, like I said, this is just a minor spoiler. It doesn't give anything away. But the doctor that Joel kills, his daughter comes after him in part 2. That's all I'm gonna say.
The doctor's daughter.
The doctor's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Okay. Hey, okay. Ryan.
Can I ask a question?
I'm
Quick question.
Okay.
No.
Just have a question.
Yes.
Now, in theory, if Ellie is the cure and society for the most part is disconnected and unable to reach each other, what difference does it make if they have a cure if it takes 6 fucking months to walk across the United States to get to anybody?
Let's deal with that. How are you getting around the world? This shit is
Things
only
take
going to
time,
be able
Mo.
to affect the
Things take
continent of
time.
the US.
It's hope. It's basically hope.
Oh man, because I just thought about that.
Because maybe you can
That's a
rebuild
good
society.
You
How
can't.
does that shit
It would take
get to
time.
China, or how does that shit
Here's
get
the
to
thing.
Europe?
This has been going on for decades, so obviously it's going to take some time. Look, I'm just happy because y'all had to go through what I had to go through when I played the game for the first time.
Selfish.
So yeah, I am selfish. I'm Joel in this motherfucker. I was fucking happy. I was like, see, when I saw Chihuahua's text in the group chat, I just sat back and was like, man, it's some good shit right here. I just sat back, poured myself a drink, and just read.
Oh,
good.
so angry.
I know.
So
I know. I can feel your anger.
man. On the next thing, and something we haven't been able to discuss, and there's been a lot of pushback against it. Some claims of wokeness, some claims of they've fallen off. I don't get the pushback against the current season of The Mandalorian, which for me is some of the best Star Wars I have fucking seen in I don't know how long. I'm like, the storytelling, the action, the expanding the universe in a television sense, the connectivity to the larger universe that's come before it and came after it. This is some of the best Star Wars we've gotten. I don't get what people don't like about what's happening right now.
I would say I like it. I think it's solid. I don't think it's great. I think it's just okay. I see where you're going. It's at a good level right now. My concern is, and it's kind of sad, but there's no way in hell they're going to reach the epicness of the season finale of last season. They're just not going to.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Wait, the last season, that's where
Skywalker,
Giancarlo Esposito pulled out the dark blade after.
No. Last season was
that 2
Skywalker.
seasons
That's
ago?
season 1. That's season 1.
Yeah, last season.
Oh, okay.
It ended with Luke Skywalker.
When Skywalker was in the thing and was killing the big super robot thing.
Well, I mean, didn't
That was
they?
time.
I mean, they put some Jedi stuff in this, and as a flashback in this one, right?
Yeah, they did.
They gave Ahmad Best one of the most satisfying apologies I've ever seen in Star Wars lore. They said, brother, we feel your pain, and all kidding aside, that young brother, for all the shit that he took from all of us who are fans for Jar Jar Binks, for all of the shit that we gave that young man behind the scenes, as proud as he was to be a part of the Star Wars universe, the rebuke of that character had that brother standing on the Brooklyn Bridge ready to jump.
Yeah.
The young brother fell into a deep depression, and it took him a long time, a lot of therapy to get out of that. And he came back, and they created a character for him where he was hosting a Star Wars game show on YouTube or online. And when he got the opportunity to come back and do this, it was a healing moment for him. It was a moment for him to be able to fulfill his dream. Something, as an actor, as a fan of Star Wars, he felt that, and he felt everyone's love and the outpouring of like how dope an introduction of a character was. I mean, that brother came out and was like, give me that lightsaber, let me do this, let me go on and fucking take out all you damn clones and get Grogu the fuck up out of here. Mad props to just Favreau and Filoni for recognizing that wrong that happened to basically to one of their own, and them saying, hey, brother Best, we got something that we're gonna do for you to make that right. That alone for me, after reading that brother's story, and even how he took his son back to that point at the bridge, just as to show his son how far he had sunk and how hard he fought to come back. That shit touched me. Just seeing that scene alone, that shit that I felt that in a major way. But fucking still, Carl Weathers, man, who knew that this dude was a hardcore Star Wars fan, giving us hardcore Star Wars storytelling?
It's Star Wars, baby, come on now. Now, when Mo said that this episode was the redemption of Jar Jar, my dumb ass really thought that Jar Jar was going to be in it.
Me too.
Yeah, that was my thing too. Yeah. I was like, really? Like, because I and that's exactly right. Literally, yes. I was like, oh man, I have to watch. Misa gonna say Grogu.
I literally like Mo. You played that fantastic because we all thought the same thing.
Well, and I saw the picture of Best in this new the Kelleran Bat role, and I thought it was one of those things like the Hogwarts. The Black Hogwarts things. I was like, oh, this dude is like cosplaying the fuck out of this. I was like, damn, that lightsaber effect is pretty tight. And then I was like, a couple of days later, I was like, oh shit, it's the actor, not the character.
Yes,
Got it. Okay. So that was a funny little thing.
The only way that they're gonna make this season better is if they give us more nostalgia. And I now know I know a lot of people are saying, oh, you don't need to do nostalgia. Well, I think you do, because Disney is stuck in this time period. Because let's think about this. Who's still alive? Luke's still alive. Han's still alive. Chewie, Lando, Ahsoka, Ezra. All these people should make some type of appearance, because you just can't get away from this timeline. If they do something like that, okay, you might be able to top the season finale of last season.
Well, Filoni has said that one thing he feels Star Wars fans will appreciate is how this season of The Mandalorian will be chock full of surprises. He said this season is chock full of surprises from all the storytelling that I've done. I being Dave Filoni, all the storytelling that I've done in the Star Wars universe, I'm bringing a lot of that into this season of The Mandalorian. So I'm already, I mean, the little things that they've done, the nod to Ezra with the space wells, to me, that I was like, that's a really dope nod to fans. That's like, for fans, I thought that was fresh. Really,
I don't know where you would put that out there unless you plan to pay that off somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just pissing off fans. It's like, why tease us and have no payoff? I look at that as, and they've already cast the actor for Ezra, so we know it's a foregone conclusion, a fait accompli, that Ezra is going to appear in the live action universe at some point. So why not this
Ezra
year?
And Sabine? Ezra, Sabine, they've got everyone cast. Yeah,
I really like the aspect of them showing all the people that were in the Empire that were brought back into the Republic and getting quote unquote asylum. I was like, okay, that's an aspect that I've never really thought of, but it makes perfect sense. So, unfortunately, it's kind of leading towards that shit sequel trilogy. So, that's the bad thing about it.
Ryan, that's one thing I actually didn't agree with, because just because the Emperor and Vader died, it doesn't mean that the Republic is then reborn. I didn't understand how you would have the mechanism to enforce that, because the Empire, nuts and bolts, still there.
Right.
Still there.
All the Empire infrastructure.
Yeah, but
I almost believe that was part of what it is that they're showing us, is that it's a lie. Exactly. It's a lie that they're giving the Republic, and that the Empire is dead, because as we learned in the trilogy, they were building all along this time. They're building a dark force in the nether regions of the universe. And when we watched those films, we were like, how the fuck did y'all build this? And how'd you get this thing staffed? And all these people over here, and no one knew this. This series here almost is starting to explain the things that happened in the trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and saying, you may think the Empire was gone, but it's not. The Empire just took on a new face and a new way of subverting the Republic and slowly moving things around. All those ships out in the shipyard, motherfuckers didn't go to waste. If you weren't trying to use them, you could have just destroyed them. But they're
showing
out there for a reason.
The rebirth of the New Republic, or the birth of the New Republic. That's what they're showing.
Yeah.
I had questions because I thought the homegirl who was eating the biscuit did the doctor dirty. She didn't have to do him like that. And what made me fucking sick to my stomach, not really, I kind of laughed my ass off. When she was eating that biscuit, look at him like that. I was like, yo, you don't have to do that. You don't need to do that. You don't need to eat that biscuit like that. That was cold. That was cold. But it also shows that the Republic isn't like all as good as we think, because they're doing like, what were they even doing to that dude? They were like wiping his brain, basically.
Yeah. We're gonna no. This is not a mind flayer. This is just gonna recalibrate your thoughts too and take you to a happier place.
But Ryan, Ryan, you are a Star Wars fan,
was
right?
fucking hilarious, by the way. When the guy said it's a trap to fucking the lobster motherfucker, I nice callback. I like that.
Ryan, just from Star Wars history that everything is from a certain point of view. Okay. They've always teetered on this. The Jedi are evil. If you look at it from a certain point of view, and a lot of the shit that the Jedi were doing was questionable. Yeah. Questionable. How they had an undue influence on politics, even though they said they were apolitical.
That is true. Very true. I mean, really and truly, and unfortunately, I'm a little too geeky in that the thing that I like the most about Andor, as slow as everyone felt it was I like seeing how people that support the Empire, how they actually think, how these are individuals who in their mind, from their point of view, what they're doing is right. Even what, this building of the New Republic, them taking this doctor and even toying with his brain to say, we got to do a little more reconditioning. That's almost like, man, from your point of view, you think what you're doing is right. You think doing anything like this is right. So it almost makes you think Star Wars is no longer this thing about this force of evil, the dark side, and this force of good, the Jedi. This is literally a galaxy-wide look at politics in worst case scenarios of one party ruling over another, and how laws are enforced improperly and all kind of shit like that.
Well, here's the thing, though. There's the Jedi, there's the government, quote unquote, and then there's the Empire. Government meaning like the Republic. Mm-hmm. Now, the Empire is worse because the Empire was basically Nazis. If you weren't human, they would enslave you. The Republic never did some shit like that. So, I mean, there were like, maybe it's a different type of evil, but the Empire was evil.
Oh yeah, no, they were evil. But remember what their motto was? Their motto was always, we are getting rid of and controlling the scum and villainy of the universe. That's how they preached it to people. Not saying that they're right. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm saying when you are conditioning anyone, when you are brainwashing anyone, you cannot do it if your messaging on the surface is evil. You have to give people that you're brainwashing this belief that what they're buying into is for the good of the people. With this, we're doing this for humanity. All these lawless planets and all this scum and villainy, we are rooting it out. And you got motherfuckers who bought into that, who were willing to get into a giant spherical weapon of death and blow up an entire planet of people. And everyone on board that damn Death Star said, this is the right thing to do.
Well, those were quote unquote the Nazis, but the Empire, they were lying to the people. Like if you remember, if you go back to Rogue One, it was a accident. It was an explosion in the mines or whatever. That's what happened. Yeah, that's what blew up the planet. Bull fucking shit. But at least, they were lying to the people. They weren't coming out and saying, "Hey, we did that shit." Yeah. So it was a lot of propaganda.
But when
democracy died to thunderous applause.
Yeah. And when you look even at starting back from the original Star Wars, but really threaded all through the original trilogy, there are shots in there that might as well have been composed by Leni Riefenstahl. I mean, it's Triumph of the Will. It's literally endless legions of people standing still as a monarch figure, arrives and walks down a tremendously lit path and all of that stuff. So I mean, it's a very apropos comparison with Nazism as far as that goes. Visually, the movies are far more successful than George Lucas's ability as a writer. But I think one thing that I've taken away from Mandalorian, and I do appreciate Pedro Pascal a lot more, having seen him in Last of Us and some of the other, not the least of which is his performance on Saturday Night Live, which I actually found to be
hilarious.
He was a very strong guest. But now I am going to pick up Mandalorian because of this Ahmad Best thing, and just hearing what you're saying. I have never been the fan of Star Wars in my family, not the fan, but I do enjoy a good show. And so now that we're in a space where, I get to see this brother do his thing, I am going to pick it up. How many episodes are left?
I don't know.
This season?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
It's 9 total.
9 total. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's we're in 3.
There's 5 more left then.
Yeah.
Is it 3 or 4?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what James Wright was asking. So you got your answer, James. It's probably about 5 more.
By the way, I love myself some Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan is the truth.
I love her so
Bo-Katan
much.
is the
And
truth.
forgive me
She
for
can
being
get it.
Mo beat me to it. God damn it, Mo. Get what, Mo? Get what?
My undivided attention.
Yes, exactly. My love and affection. Yes.
Yes, Bo-Katan is the truth. Something that may not be true at all could be. There was some breaking news that came out earlier that the onlyest reason I want to bring to the round table, because I believe the last time something broke, and it broke around the show, was when folks were talking about Chadwick Boseman, and they were talking about how he looked and how he was gaunt and skinny and looked really, really bad. And there were some who were saying it's for a new role, and others were saying that it was because he was on drugs. And I know we had varied opinions on what it could be, especially after his appearance at the NBA All-Star game. And I'm talking about this news that TMZ, an organization that does not go on breaking news unless they know it to be factual. TMZ is run by some of the most legally sound individuals in all of entertainment. And they have put out some news that beloved actor Jonathan Majors has gotten himself in a kerfuffle with a young woman, leading to his arrest. And so far, there are so many folks out there. I think the difference in this instance with Jonathan Majors versus any other actor out there who has been involved in any form of domestic violence or an attack or anything is, to a person, no one believes this to be true. To a person, though none of us may know Brother Majors, I believe that every single one of us who have seen this news are like, this is some bullshit. Like looking at what happened recently with Michael Vick, even though there was precedent, he was vindicated, because when you saw the video in question
Michael
that
Irvin.
had
Michael
cost
Irvin.
Irvin, I'm about to say Michael Vick went to jail.
I'm sorry, Irvin. I know.
Come
It
on,
has
man.
nothing to do with puppies being killed. Irving, we saw later that the brother was vindicated. And the only reason I wanted to bring this up, because I know the Nerdverse really checks us out and is really following what we say and what we do. And I would like to say, on behalf of the fandom of Jonathan Majors, let us wait and let us see. Let us not rush to judgment, even though I know I feel a lot of y'all's on Twitter like he was arrested. Okay. Yes, he was. We don't know.
If he was known, all I'm going to say is this: if he was known for getting himself into trouble, I would say, like, you know what? That's trouble. This is like a red flag. But like, this is the first time I've ever heard anything like this from him. So that's why I'm like, let's wait and see.
Yep.
I think it's more than just whether he did it or not. And this is where I'm most sympathetic to Jonathan Majors. I'm not going to tell all my business, but I think anyone who's been in a dating relationship has been in a situation where a moment has gone too far. And when a moment has gone too far for whatever reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, police may be on the scene. And if they see any evidence of a physical interaction, that there was something that happened, that means somebody's going to get arrested. Period. Point blank. Someone's going to jail. Let me just finish this one point. And my concern is, I don't like a stain that you can't get out of clothes. I fear, and I mean this, I fear that this is going to be a stain on Jonathan Majors' record in life. No matter how it may be resolved, there will still be that stain, and people who, let's say it's resolved and he was vindicated, who won't believe him. Or let's say it goes away and we don't hear anything more about it. Charges are dropped, whatever. I think it's going to follow him fairly or unfairly, because when the arrest comes in, you can't undo that. I'm sorry, go ahead, Liz.
I want to say that from a guy who was living in a motel, and who has been going around talking about how he has now 4% body fat. It's unfortunate that you would even be involved in a situation to where you are at the high point of your career. And if this also goes in, you're at the high point of your career, you would risk it for anything. And that's just in the last couple months. Look at what he's about to do in the future. And that's just what we know with the MCU. He's going to do even more beyond the MCU, I'm sure. And then we have the unfortunate stereotype of the way he looks, how fit he is, what he, you have a movie, Creed, and the stereotype that people have about boxers, even though he's playing a boxer, but the way that he was fit for it. This can unfortunately be, I know it's not the exact type of situation, but Nate Parker, who was at the highlight of his career. He had a pretty decent movie coming out, and it got killed. And his movies that have came out have been really good, but nobody's checking for him. And general public's not checking for him, let me put it that way. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I hope, I truly hope that it's,
even though we don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened, yes. And I hope it turns out to be much ado about nothing. And I would hope that not just the fans, but the industry as a whole is able to give Mr. Majors the exact same opportunity that they gave to Mr. Renner, who was having some very similar charges levied against him right before he did Hawkeye. I would hope that they would give Mr. Majors the exact same chances that they've given Ezra Miller, who has had all types of actual arrests and the like, and his movie is still being heralded by fans and critics and those who have seen it as the best thing coming out
or
ever.
His co-star,
Jonathan
Majors' co-star, Ant-Man.
Who?
Ant-Man. Dude plays Ant-Man.
Oh yeah,
he's had some
Paul
serious
Rudd,
allegations.
Paul Rudd has hell, if what's his name, Mel Gibson doesn't stop getting roles with all that he has done, I just would say to everyone who wants to be like, lock him up or whatever the fuck is out there right now, because I know Twitter is just going crazy. And I'm like, yo, pause. In a world where y'all want to always talk about what about everyone else who y'all have given the opportunity to say their speak. So just want to make sure that we at least broached it, because I don't want us to come on and we talk about everything else that happens and to act like that's not happening.
I think it's also fair to say that he is not in police custody currently.
Mm-hmm.
It was less than 24 hours that we have no information about him bailing out.
Mm-hmm.
All we have is that there are allegations and he is no longer in police custody. And so people can take that as they will. It is definitely something that everybody is going to be watching.
Yes.
And in as much as I have not seen anything from any Marvel brass weighing in on it, it seems like they are taking a wait and see approach. And so we shall see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yes, indeed. Am I the only one who saw Shazam?
No.
Of course not.
Okay. No, I wasn't sure. Mo, you haven't seen Shazam
No.
yet? And McBain, you haven't seen it?
I haven't even seen the first one.
Okay. That's fair. In the world of the DC universe, just like the first Shazam, to me, this film it's better than a lot of the DC stuff that's come out, and that's not a lot. There's not a lot of stuff that's come out. It was a fun enough ride. Is this shit gonna go down in the pantheon of great superhero films? No, it's not. But it was fun. I had fun watching it. I laughed. It was better than the first one. It was better than the first one. And some people are like, "Well, that ain't hard to do." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, but it is." And they're literally operating and going out there in good faith, knowing that there's no future for this film franchise. And I think that probably is the thing that bothered me the most. Is it's in the end they tried to connect it to the larger DC universe, and sadly enough, to find out that The Rock was a part of not making the Black Adam cameo happen. I was like, oh man, that's fucked up, man. Just because you salty, that's fucked up. You should have done that Black Adam cameo. But it's clear with this film that they are really just fulfilling their obligation to put these films out. And it almost makes it seem like, well, then why? Just put that shit on the HBO Max app. Like, you don't have to put something in theaters if you're knowingly not connecting it to the larger.
Well, they sabotaged this movie. They sabotaged. The amount of money and energy that they put into advertising for this was zero. Like there wasn't even, Tom, they didn't even do anything like in kids' Happy Meals. Like they did nothing. Like they did zero, zilch, hardly anything. Almost forgot it was coming out.
I will just say this. Yes, they did not do a sponsorship tie-in. Sponsorship tie-ins cost money. And I think to Tuala's point, everybody knew that this wasn't going anywhere. And I watched The Last of Shazam 2 Fury.
Last of Sam? What the fuck?
Yeah, The Last of Zam.
Okay.
Because it's the last one.
Okay.
And
that was good.
And I will just say that this was DC's attempt. Suicide Squad was one. This was DC's attempt at giving us a Guardians of the Galaxy freewheeling vibe.
Yes.
And it just didn't work. Suicide Squad was a better parallel. Suicide Squad got made, I think, because Guardians of the Galaxy turned into a surprise hit. So you got this ragtag band of anti-heroes or whatever that nobody really knows anything about. And so let's try to make something. And it didn't work. Once again, this movie has the same problem that all DC movies have. It's a world-ending threat every single time, and nobody else comes to help. You have, again, that cheat that they did with Gal Gadot, I guess wasn't available, whatever. It's a dream sequence where he's on a date with her in Paris, and she's only shot from the back because Jaimin Hansu ends up being the face that actually talks to him. That's how he communicates the message that he needs to get to Billy, because he's limited in what he can do, blah, blah, blah. So once again, you did the exact same gag you did with Superman in the first one. Chop him off at the neck or show the back, the exact same costume, the exact same wig, except it's Jaimin Hansu, which was jarring enough. But Lucy, you have these three daughters that are wildly different in age. They're all immortal, but Helen Mirren is really old, and Lucy Liu is just really crazy, and Anthea is just really cute and nice for some reason.
Yeah.
And,
I thought it was Eddie for Brady for a minute there.
Well, I mean,
Eddie for Brady is a good movie.
Helen Mirren,
it's not.
is an enjoyable actor. I enjoy her doing her thing. I thought she was at least credible. I had no idea why Lucy Liu was such. I mean, the characters were barely drawn anyway. And then you've got, oh, let's make the chubby kid gay, which fine. Okay. So you're gay, but what did that actually do for the story? It just
nothing. They wanted to continue the storyline from the first.
And sure, fine. Yeah. It's great. I just didn't buy it. Zach Levi looked even older than he looked in the first one, which
he did.
Struck me as
he looked a little thinner, even though he still had the muscle suit. I was like, is it me? Or does this dude look like he shrunk? Like what?
It did look like it, and never more so than when he's at that lunch table and the black dude's like, hey, Colonel Sparkplug or whatever, when you gonna fix this dome thing? And he turned around and I saw like the muscle suit shift a little, and I was like, why isn't it full? Like, you should be bulging out of that suit like you were in the first one.
Nope.
But
he lost some weight.
He did. And Megan Good was great.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
Look, to me, Megan Good was great. I thought the little girl who was playing the Megan Good.
Yeah, the baby. Yeah.
I thought because to me, my favorite line in that whole film was when she's on the unicorn. She says, "Taste the rainbow," and they bleep out "motherfucker." I was like, that shit had me crying.
And they actually that was a cute little preview because why do you think I put Skittles in her pocket?
Right,
and then you get Taste the Rainbow, and I was like, oh, see, look
that was dope.
What you did there. Yeah. And so it was too many characters, too many people getting their powers taken away, and then maybe getting their powers back briefly, or blah 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 blah. It was just a mess of a movie. And yes, they needed to release it, but it's almost like as poorly as it has done. Did you even make the right decision? And you can't lay that at the feet of The Rock, because I think Black Adam was a much better movie. Cameo, blah, blah, blah.
The cameo, I was just salty that he didn't do the cameo, and that the only cameo they gave us, spoiler alert, was Gal Gadot in the end, which was why? Because
why did he need to survive?
Yeah. He could have been dead because there was going to be no more movie. And second spoiler alert, them trying to tie it into Peacemaker. I thought that was interesting only because I said with the tone, to your point earlier about them trying to make it more Guardians of the Galaxy-ish in the vein of the Suicide Squad, them trying to tie this character into what they are attempting to do with Peacemaker, which is the only reason I believe that they may have gone on and done this film anyway, instead of just saying, you know what, just like Batgirl, you're going in the trash, is because one thing that James Gunn has said is that we have not seen the end of Peacemaker. So in this film, have they tied into them trying to do something with Shazam, the same crew that's down with Peacemaker? I'm wondering if there will be some future for Zachary Levi's Shazam in something goofy like a Shazam Peacemaker kind of team building kind of thing. And maybe it could be tied to the Waller series, because they are doing the Waller series, and with them teasing that Waller Squad is looking to put together the Justice Society. Mm-hmm. If we tie this film into either Peacemaker because of that crew, or the Waller series, then you could have Peacemaker pop up in Waller, you could have Shazam pop up in Waller, and anyone else, because they are still, for some reason, they're putting out the Blue Beetle movie, which isn't tied to anything that's come before it and is not part of the future. So why would you still put out the Blue Beetle if not to say we're gonna do the Justice Society film?
See, I would not go to the theater to see this, and I saw it in Dolby.
Yeah,
but I would, but I also am an AMC, just like Tom, so it's free for me.
Look,
so I go.
I had it, and that's why I got it. I finally got my AMC thing back, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go on and do that. Hey, look, there's a whole bunch of movies that I got lined up to go see because I'm like, premium pass.
Just because it's free to go see should you still go see it? Because time is money, my brother.
No. Megan Good is really good. I actually like
she
her
sure
in it a lot.
is. She sure
I
is.
thought she does really embody the kid spirit.
She said body.
Okay. I still think as bad as the movie, it's not great at all. But I liked it better than the first one because the first one was just, to me, was just like Power Rangers. And I know Power Rangers is coming back to Netflix. They have a new Power Rangers movie. Mm-hmm. And I don't like Power Rangers. With a couple of
the original cast members.
Yeah. I don't like Power Rangers. So I really didn't like the whole Power Ranger feel of the first movie. This one was not Power Ranger-y. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, and the sad thing is, all of the, I wouldn't say all, but more of the decent jokes were already in the previews. So it made it even worse, right?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I didn't, Tawala said in our text thread a little while ago, can you believe what they did in the last trailer by spoiler and the additional daughter? I didn't know what or you didn't say additional daughter. You just said the spoiler of this person and Anthea. And as soon as I saw the girl on screen and she was being so super nice to Freddie, I was like, how is she working with the sisters? Aren't there only two sisters? And then here, what the fuck we go? And it's like, there's a third sister. Right. Not to mention that between the Pleiades and the Hesperides, there was a bunch of sisters that Atlas was involved. I mean, a bunch of children that Atlas was hooking up with, and neither of them were as low a number as 3. But I just don't know why this movie had to be made and how Black Adam got such short shrift. I enjoy Black Adam a lot more. You've got some people from the Justice Society who I guess are a little bit in limbo. Aldous Hodge was perfectly fine as Hawkman. The Atom Smasher dude was perfectly fine.
Brosnan was great.
Well, he's dead now, though. I mean,
spoiler alert.
Dr. Fate is never dead.
Oh, come on, dude. So no, but Dr. Fate can be somebody else. I just don't see that it's going to be Pierce Brosnan. So you have all these established characters. I didn't particularly care for the Cyclone Girl, and they called her Red Tornado on the little screen and all that stuff. I didn't really care for her, but Hawkman's a major character. Dr. Fate's a major character. Atom Smasher, whatever. You got a guy who can grow and stuff. Now everything is kind of thrown in flux. And it's just like, even though the MCU is also in trouble, and it is.
Yes.
Let's be clear. I am more interested in seeing Secret Invasion and Loki than I have really seeing any of these movies that they're, Blade, but Blade doesn't really exist. We don't know when Fantastic Four is coming out. The X-Men cartoon is a lot more exciting to me than most of the
Daredevil. Don't forget Daredevil's coming.
Daredevil Born Again. And you must be excited because they're bringing in, apparently Jessica Jones is supposed to be in it.
Yes.
And, which I still can't stomach.
She's right behind that Liz was talking about so much.
Yeah, I think it's great that they are bringing back the actor for Punisher as well. I think that's cool. But again, it's D+. D+ is what is exciting right now in the MCU. They've lost their way cinematically.
I am.
No, that actually, and I can't stand Chris Pratt, but from what I've seen, I am intrigued, especially if he does die. That would make me super duper happy. So
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna see that movie because I am interested in seeing what James Gunn is going to do.
Man.
I wasn't as I don't like Chris Pratt.
I disagree. I disagree. I'm not as excited for Guardians of the Galaxy because I know that their story is not going to be principally featured. Right. It's almost like, it's not like Black Widow, but it's kind of like Black Widow where
all good things must come to an end, Mo.
That's right. And so I don't have the anticipation because most of my Marvel anticipation is where it's leading, not a story coming to an end.
Right.
Okay. That's
and there's so many there's so many movies that people actually want to see. Who is excited that Eternals 2 has been announced? even though it's like 4 years in the future. Oh yeah,
yeah, it's been announced.
Yeah, I mean, you knew it was coming.
No, obviously, but again, there's no excitement. You could in the first three phases when you eventually knew it was about the Infinity Stones, and you eventually knew that Thanos was going to be the big bad and da 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 da. Even a movie like Ant-Man that didn't actually relate to the Infinity Saga at all, and even Ant-Man and the Wasp, which didn't really relate to the Infinity Saga at all, you just went with it because fine, it's a breath of fresh air. All this death and all this crazy, sad, shit. You're fine because you know it's a part of an overarching narrative. You're just now introducing Kang, and Kang got beaten by ants. Thanos ain't been beaten by ants. Thanos fucked up Captain America's shield.
It was
back swatted Thor.
There's a lot of ants. Tom, there's a lot of ants.
I get it. And he smacked the shit out of the Hulk. Smacked the Hulk so hard the Hulk didn't want to be the Hulk no more. That's who Thanos was.
There was a lot of ants.
Like a lot.
Ants can carry 100 times their weight, right?
Microscopic, subatomic ants.
Yeah, but
they were biggest
people. They
people.
can carry 100 pounds, 100 times their weight, right?
True.
Yeah, but they didn't do shit to save us from the snap, though.
They sure did.
Look, because the ants were snapped too. This is ants back with a vengeance. And there was a lot of them.
Oh, okay. Fuck to the Back to the Ant future. I don't give a good goddamn. That's not how you introduce the next big bad who's supposed to be the most fearsome force in the universe. The only thing you gave us was a whole room of arguing Kangs, and then Immortus, Scarlet Centurion, and Ramatut, and then Mr. Timely. And that's supposed to be the thing that has me shaking in my boots. Thanos sat there on that floating chair.
We don't know what Timely is going to do.
And people were like, holy shit.
Look, Timely is going to have a major presence in Loki.
A Jonathan major presence.
Oh, man.
No.
Hey, Tuala, this is one thing I have to agree with Thomas on this one, if only because when Thanos came on the scene, we didn't see it, but he beat the shit out of Thor.
I'll do it myself.
Okay? He was carrying Thor, okay? He beat the shit out of Heimdall. He walked through everyone, and then it said, well, we have a Hulk. And it said, bitch, please, I ain't worried about no damn Hulk. And then the
gave
Hulk
him that two-piece.
Right.
Two-piece.
And Hulk went to Earth, and Banner's like, Thanos is coming.
He beat the Hulk out of Hulk.
Look, yes, they hyped up Thanos so much, and rightfully so. As soon as one of his henchmen was like, let him have his fun, and he beat the fuck out of Hulk, I was like, ooh, okay.
Yes. Thanos was a major payoff, and everything Thanos did was like, oh, you're really about that life. From the fact when that dude said you should have gone for the head and snapped everyone away, I said Thanos is about that life. Even when they brought him back and he was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, he was still about that life. When the dude said, look at you, time after time, doesn't matter what you do, in the end you come back to me. Come get this ass whooping.
See, that's the scary thing about it. In Infinity War, he was playing nice. He wanted the stones to determine who lived or died. And Endgame, he was like, fuck, I'm gonna kill all y'all.
Yes.
He got that ass.
Recreate the universe from scratch.
Yes.
With no opposition.
I don't think that Marvel is unaware, at least the MCU is unaware of their troubles, because Iger has recently come out at one meeting or another and said, we are going to slow down on some of these film releases for quality control and to make sure that they are basically fire. He's like, let's dial some of these release dates back a little bit, because we need to account for production, which we're catching a lot of shit on, and we need to account for storytelling.
Yeah, but the story sometimes sucks.
Well, sometimes.
I don't know. I mean, there are some stories that I am excited about. I am excited for Captain America 4. I think for me, that's the thing I'm most excited about.
Sure.
Yes.
The possible introduction of Adamantium.
I'm excited for Captain Marvel.
The fact that we're going to see what's the name? Not Jonathan.
Monica,
Fuck.
and Monica's gonna be in
Which
it.
one? Who?
Monica,
Photon?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Look, I didn't like the first Captain Marvel, so I can't righteously be excited. Even though I liked the Miss Marvel series, it was cute and it was fun. The first Captain Marvel movie, it sucked so bad. It bothered me so bad. And even though I love to see Homegirl as Monica Rambeau, aka Photon, I want to see all that. If the rumors are true, Blue Marvel, all of that. But I still am not excited about this film. I can't get excited about it.
If Blue Marvel's in it, I'll have a nerdgasm.
So can we ask, because we're at 55 minutes, can we get into Wick real quick?
Oh, yes. All right. My bad. Yeah, we went a little too far on that one. John Wick Chapter 4. I sent it out in the text message. My review, so much fucking death. This dude, literally, they said, we're going to have the highest kill count of any film possible. We are going to do things with guns, with knives, with cars, and with just straight fighting that really pushes the limits of everything. This one car scene, 15-minute car fight scene was one of those things. I just had my mouth open like,
it sounds good.
What is happening? The
you haven't seen it?
No,
you've seen it.
No, the
I haven't seen it
violence
yet.
was
I've been working too much.
Insane. I went in there for violence. I went in there for carnage.
Yes.
I went in there to see if they were able to top the third film in terms of kill quota. They gave me everything. Is Keanu winning an Oscar for his role? No, he's not. He has one-liners. They're quirky sometimes, but they're not even supposed to be funny. They introduce some characters that there will be a fourth that can spin off into different John Wick universes. You can see why they are doing the ballerina series. You can see why they're doing the Continental, and why they're doing like all these other things within the John Wick universe. I thought hearing Donnie Yen cuss was great for me. Donnie Yen was phenomenal. Yeah. But for me, the thing that I think fucked me up the most about this film is when you know that Lance Reddick has just passed.
Yeah.
And when what happens to him in this film, like literally my packed audience was fucking silent because the shit hit differently when what happened to him happened.
Do you think they knew? Or,
no.
That did not feel to me like an inevitable consequence. And when I saw it, and you see that Keanu says, and Lawrence Fishburne came out and said, that he passed a week before the premiere and everything. It struck me that it might have been a circumstance where he had said, "Look, this is what's happening," and they made
everyone
the choice.
It
just because he did, unlike Chadwick Boseman, who, as we alluded to before, you could see something was going on with Chadwick Boseman. Lance Reddick looked amazing.
Yes, he did.
He looked fully Lance Reddicky in this movie. There was nothing to indicate anything about what was plaguing him. And so it just felt to me like I didn't see any real reason for that situation to resolve the way it did, unless they were going to tie his character to the other major character that they introduced. Two major characters, Donnie's character of Kane and this character, Mr. Nobody. And to me, it felt like they were hinting at maybe Mr. Nobody having a relationship to Karen.
Right.
But they didn't confirm it. They didn't really address it one way or the other. But for a person who ended up having as much screen time as he is in the third act, at the denouement of the third act, I was like, where's the payoff for this character?
Mr. Nobody. I was unfortunate. I think you'll be surprised. I actually like the movie.
That is.
I'll say my piece after then. Go on ahead.
And I will say though, I did take my kids.
What's wrong with you?
Oh shit!
You're insane.
You know what? You're like that chick who brought her 4-year-old to Scream 6. I was like, "What is your problem, woman?"
No, okay.
Did you bring your kid to Scream 6?
My daughter, by almost the third act, my daughter's like, okay, this is unbelievable because
Exactly.
Look, you cannot go into John Wick looking for believability.
Listen,
a brick, and
okay,
he's like
so
able to get up.
got it.
I mean, he's just
so let me just say this. I don't go into superhero movies. I'm not going to critique Shazam: Fury of the Gods for there being a dragon with torn wings that can somehow still fly. I don't care about any of that. I will just say, when John Wick, the first one, came out, all I had to really believe was that he was an unstoppable killing machine. Anytime John Wick is going hand to hand or shooting people or in a fist fight or in a kung fu, whatever, I'm fine. I'm with it. Yes, he's got incredible stamina. Yes, he's got a magic gun that has an unemptiable mag.
Yep.
Yes, all of that. Yes, he's got a suit that they claim has Kevlar, and Kevlar with no body to support it is enough to stop a bullet that is being shot at it because he's covering his face because the suit doesn't have Kevlar on it. All of that I will go with. Those are the rules of the universe. Don't fucking try to tell me, no matter what this motherfucker can do, that he can get hit by a car 5 times in 12 minutes and still do whatever the fuck he needs to do. If Shuri,
he should have been building.
Wait.
No, building in part 3.
This was
Mo, he was thrown off 5 buildings in this movie. See, everything was just extra. I would have enjoyed this movie better if at the beginning of the third act, because the first act, there's not so much unbelievable just bullshit in it. But second act into third act, if Letitia Wright had showed up and they had just shot her from the back with that little curly top thing, and there was a box in his apartment that looked like it was made in Wakanda, and he opened it and that was the suit, I could have gone with it. I would have been happier. It was impossible for me to suspend my disbelief that this motherfucker, and oh my God, so much of this enraged me.
The Marquis in the first
film, the fucking roof.
My son started counting how many times he got hit by a car.
Look,
so we got to 7.
Yes,
he was hit by a car
7 times, full speed. He is still
John Wick.
In the second film, when he was in that one tunnel scene and literally getting shot point blank range with repeater shotguns and machine guns, at that point I said I'm here for all of it, because in the second film, before he had that final brawl with Common, the gunfire that he received on that suit, I don't care if it is Kevlar, I don't care what it's made of, every bone in his body would have been broken and the internal damage would have been unrepairable. It's okay. It's okay.
But here's the thing about that, Twala, is that they tell you the suit is basically magic.
Yes.
That suit
is magic.
That suit is so thin, the fabric had to be so thin to allow you to move.
Those bullets were going into another universe. They were not.
They were. It was a portal.
Yeah.
And you know what? You said that the suit was magic and it's woven of the finest. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Whatever. Fine. I've already bought off on the fact that the suit is magic. And because the suit is magic, and that's the only way I can get into a gunfight where the person is literally 3 fucking feet away from me and I don't die when I'm shooting 21 shots. Also, why are you the super assassin and you wasting extra bullets on triple headshots?
That part.
Because no, because the first bullet had to hit the armor, the second one had to push it in further.
No,
I got, but see, a lot of the people, if you look, a lot of people that were shooting, like especially the armor dudes, some of those 3 shots were to push it through the armor.
No, I'm not even talking about the masked dudes in Osaka. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the random ass Parisian thugs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. First, you know what? For good measure.
High hell, know, everybody knows. And first of all, Baba Yaga, that is a Russian witch, bro.
Yes.
Wait a second.
You meant to say Babadook. is what you meant to say.
But no, they
But
want
yeah.
This is another
You're just
thing.
nitpicking at this
When
point.
I was
It's
No.
trash.
When I was in
oh
college,
my God,
It's
dude,
gonna make
okay.
$1 bajillion.
Okay.
It's gonna make more money than any of the movies in the series. I don't doubt it. There is nothing fresh. There are no new ideas. Donnie Yen, yes, that was fine.
Donnie
He
Yen,
was
Mr.
good.
Nobody.
He was
Mr. Nobody
Mr.
is
Nobody.
dope.
Fuck Mr. Nobody.
I get it. You just don't like it.
Okay,
Chunky David,
so
John
my
David
second-
Washington ass. Fuck you.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that's
when
a
I
hater,
was in
man.
college,
That's hate.
I
You're a
went
hater.
to a party, and I went to a Omega party, and unfortunately, an
How did
Omega
I know?
was shot in the parking lot at Cal State San
Sounds about right.
Bernardino, and the party kept going. And
No,
I
oh my
wonder-
God, that scene.
I started counting how many. I was like, so how many people must die? Like they're literally fighting.
Liz,
Like
they
stuff
were
is
they,
throwing
Liz, they
in
were
the middle of the
partying
party, and
in
we're
the they
still
were partying in the
partying.
death zone. If you're partying in the fat man, the killer fat man's club, you know death happens at the drop of a
But
beat.
then why
The
are you
DJ
running
didn't
at the
stop.
end?
At the
all that
end,
was
you
going
shouldn't have
on.
run. I would have bought that, Twala.
No, I
would've
think they're running
absolutely
because
bought
of the
that.
dog.
Such a hater.
Dogs
No,
are
fuck
different.
that bullshit.
Dogs are
One
different.
goddamn dog, the whole club emptied. It was a
Dude,
three-story
you don't know
club.
what a dog is gonna
You don't know
do.
what the fuck was going
You don't
on
know
at
what a
that
dog is
Man,
gonna
that
do.
shit was
It
so
makes sense.
fucking
It makes sense
bullshit.
that you're hating right now because you got a MAGA hat on right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what you
That is
got on.
not a MAGA
You're a
hat.
hater.
Oh my gosh! Did you
Hater.
guys,
Okay.
Did you see the preview? There's a preview. There's a horror movie that's going to come out on Juneteenth.
The
No,
Blackening.
no.
Is it
Blackening.
what's it called?
The
Blackening?
Blackening trailer for me was absolutely embarrassing. I literally had to pull my sweater up over my face because I was like, please, no one who is not a person of color in this audience, please don't look at me. I don't support this. I'm not
I'ma watch
behind
it.
this. I'm not
So-
with this. This trailer was embarrassing.
Because they
This
have to
is what
measure
I-
how many
this-
black they are.
I need to read this post on Facebook. So this John Wick saga all started because of Theon Greyjoy. This is one big ass advertisement for what happens when parents can't control their badass kids. Hashtag John Wick. And all I will say is that, of course, they left it ambiguous. There in the John Wickiverse, there's nothing that says that he's ever really dead.
Yep.
It is equally probable to me that he made the choice that he made because the table wasn't going to leave him alone if they believe that
Yes.
he's alive. Okay?
Yes.
So fine. I earnestly wish that something about this movie didn't make me feel like, oh my God, the Sacre-Cœur steps, the rave, the fact that the Marquis, and you know what? The Marquis is an interesting character. I just don't buy that this is the guy that gets all the resources of the table to do what they thought needed to be done, which is to kill John Wick. Because guess what? Anyone who had been given all of the resources of the table could also fail to kill John Wick.
Yeah, but
so I don't get what the point was. And how did this little 22-year-old twat make his bones like he's just like this king shit?
Gen Y believes that they can do anything. Gen Y and even Gen Z, they have no idea their elbow from their asshole, and that's who that dude represented. That dude represented the entitlement, represented the fairness, the all the bullshit that goes with this generation who thinks that they deserve a fucking trophy too. And that's what this dude is. They left it to some Gen Wire who was like, I can kill him. How? Because it's my time. Fuck out of here. That's what that dude was. And John Wick is a perfect allegory of society where you have the baby boomers, you have Gen X and Gen Y, and everyone is fighting to see who is right. I loved it, but we're way over. And I really want to know real quick what y'all are watching beyond all this good stuff. Is there anything happening on Apple TV, Liz?
No, I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not watching it. Well, I'm not recommending it. So the 3 things I'm watching. Unprisoned is so good on Hulu. Loved it.
Oh, the one with homegirl.
Kerry
So
Washington.
cute.
Kerry Washington. Yep.
And Delroy Lindo.
Delroy.
This is the last season of Snowfall. And
yeah.
it is
Yeah, it
really
is.
good. There's a lot of surprises that is already taking place in this last episode. And finally, Swarm. The Beehive had been upset.
Oh, I know the Hive is spitting nails.
But it's so good. It is so good. Danny Glover, though. I mean, Donald Glover is is getting some hate off of this show, but it's really good.
Swarm.
It's a really good watch.
Swarm looks interesting. I haven't.
There's so many surprises of who's in it, though.
Okay.
So you know,
I'll check it out. What you Ryan? What you watching, McBang?
All I've been watching is March Madness because I've been fucking working every goddamn day, 12-hour shifts. So it's March Madness this. Men's and women's, which is fine.
You know who he's not watching anymore? Duke. Or UCLA.
That's fine.
or anybody. I mean, I know. Is there anybody? Raise your hand if anybody still has a bracket.
Have it, but it's not.
I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't involved.
Them shits is torn to shreds.
You would have guessed San Diego State, right?
I picked Alabama. They fucked me over. But I'm watching it and I'm yelling at work because like I got money in this. I'm like, fuck shit. My boss like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm losing money, motherfucker. But yeah, I've been watching men's and women's basketball. Very entertaining. Other than sports, what I'm gonna try and get to is Luther on Netflix because I love.
That's worth watching.
Yes, I love
similar Wickian issues, but sure.
Stop hating! God damn it!
Much fewer. Yeah, no.
Idris Elba is the fucking G. Love the dude, so I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
All right. What are you watching, Tom? Since you hate John Wick.
I enjoyed the Luther one shot. I would be perfectly happy to revisit this character once a year if that's what the plan is going to be. Idris still does a good job. What's his name? The guy who played Claw. Andy Serkis. Weird hair, but great sadist. I watched Shadow and Bone season 2.
Oh, how is that?
I really like Shadow and Bone. I really do. I love the mythology. It is a seamlessly diverse cast without like pushing things on you. They have people of different sexual orientations without it being like a whole thing. I love the mythology. I love the rules. I love, in some ways it's like what Twilight could have been in terms of them having like these love interests and putting a female protagonist in the middle of several love interests. It's well done. It's a very good second season of a show that kind of ended on a cliffhanger in the first season. The language, the nation building, all of that stuff, I really, really, really dig about Shadow and Bone. And for those who are familiar with the work, it combines elements of the Shadow and Bone stuff with this other series that's in the same universe, Six Crows. And so they kind of interweave the stories to very, very solid effect. And I just really, really, really enjoy it. And I'm also watching on Amazon Prime, The Devil's Hour.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's a British series, and there's kind of like some psychic elements, and there's a serial killer, and the female protagonist is having visions of murders, and there's a male anti-hero protagonist who's been kind of pointed to as the serial killer, but he's got some kind of connection with the murderer. She's got some kind of connection with the murderer. It's intriguing stuff. I haven't gotten too far into it, but I'm enjoying watching.
All right. What's on your box, Mo?
I finished up the second season of Your Honor, which is fantastic. If you are a fan of Bryan Cranston, you just have to see it. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm starting Succession. I never watched the show before. So I'm started on season 1. I don't love it yet, but I like it, and it's making me go to the next episode. There's some characters which really annoy me.
It's the last season.
What episode are you in, Mo?
Season 1, episode 4.
Oh yeah. No, this is gonna be like The Expanse.
Damn!
And I think that the early
you're in a I thought the first season was absolutely brilliant. So I think you'll really, and of course it was against the backdrop of some of what was going on with Trump and stuff like that, and it's like Rupert Murdoch and and all that sort of stuff. So I think you'll really enjoy.
Look, I like Brian Cox, and if you remember the first season, he's not as plentiful because he's going through some health issues.
Right? Yeah. But he comes back.
Yeah, I know.
He definitely comes back, and so. Siobhan, I mean, all the kids. I mean, I know who you're talking about as the person who's annoying. Yes, he is super annoying. Yeah,
Greg,
super duper annoying. But also, I mean, all of them. They're in this orbit about this person, and that's why it's so Trumpy. Siobhan is actually the favored one, but he's a sexist, and so she doesn't get the and then the oldest son might as well be Donald Jr. They might as well just fucking call him Donald Jr.
with the coke and everything.
Oh, yeah. And then, not that Rory Culkin's character is Eric because he's smarter than Eric, but the mommy issues. And I mean, there's so much stuff going on in this show. It's really worth watching for sure.
Man, you guys have put a lot on the plate.
If you haven't watched Succession, it's a good show.
I really didn't like the last season at all. But
You're in the last season now, the final season?
No, the final season hasn't started yet.
No, I thought it just started.
I think it just started.
Yeah, it just started.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're talking about season 2 or season 3?
Or season 4. I think this is the 5th
season. Season 4 is the last one, I think.
The one that, not the one that just started, but the one right before it. I didn't like it. I mean, it wasn't the greatest. But then the one before that was Sanaa Lathan was on it now, and I like her. So,
all right, man. Look, I got a lot of shit I got to catch up on because really and truly, it's Saturday.
Oh no, final season starts tomorrow.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's on the list. All this is on the list. I got anime to watch. Anime. I got some One Piece to catch up on. No, One Piece isn't back yet. What is out there? Oh, damn. My Hero. Attack on Titan is back. Attack on Titan is
the final Attack on Titan.
It's horrific. The things that are happening in Attack on Titan are the things of nightmares. Horrifying things are happening in Attack on Titan. The Vash the Stampede, the Trigun series. It's very, very dark and horrible things but it's great anime. The shit takes up my one free night of television. I try to get in, and believe it or not, I am watching the final season of The Flash. Why? I don't know. Just I'm a completist, and I'm watching.
It's a hard watch, isn't it?
Watch Superman and Lois. I'm actually surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm excited about that because of some of the characters that they've cast on it. The addition of Bruno Mannheim and Steele, both played by actors that have been on later with Mo Kelly, with Wole and
Chad.
We're calling them by their first name like they're friends.
They are.
They are. They're definitely down with the show. So I definitely want to support those shows and check those out. But got a lot that we've given y'all to check out, and we definitely appreciate y'all riding with us and being patient and coming back and joining us when we do. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Much love to all y'all.
Next week, Dungeons and.
Next week is Dungeons and Dragons. I've already got my ticket on my.
You can go ahead and watch that.
I'm gonna watch it.
You right ahead.
I'm curious to see what they do. There's already some connectivity to the old '80s cartoon. And I like D&D. I like D&D stuff.
So I like good D&D. Yes.
Look, this is already film of the year. What they're saying, so we'll see. We'll see.
Eat my ass, film of the year.
Okay, there's
That's
no.
what they
no
said.
ass
That's what they said in the pre. That's what they
Big
said.
Bang. There is no ass eating happening here. Okay. There will be no ass eating, good sir. Okay. I want you to know
keep your groceries to yourself.
yes.
Hi, Mom.
No Lunchables.
If it's clean, it's cuisine.
Oh shit. Okay.
Hi,
And that is the show.
My God.
That is the show. Big Bang.